It's been 6 years of podcasting, and without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring these podcasts to you. So I want to thank today's sponsors. And first off, we have the Pretentious Pickle Company of 190 Water Street in Plymouth. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, go down and check out what they make. They have everything pickled you can imagine, from pickled beets to carrots to mushrooms to onions to Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. They even have pickled or pickled flavor cotton candy, I should say. They make it fresh there every day, and you can go in there and check out what they have to offer. And if you're not in the Plymouth area, you can go to pretentiouspickle.com and check out what they have to offer there as well, and they will ship it out to you. Their stuff is delicious. You should check it out, and they are big fans of ours, and we are big fans of theirs. So thank you to the Pretentious Pickle Company for sponsoring today's episode. And our second sponsor today is Moonrise Cinemas. Moonrise Cinemas is a new drive-in in Plymouth, right on the Plymouth-Kingston line. They are located at 428 Court Street in Plymouth, Mass. And they offer a great selection of movies. You can go. It's very family-friendly. I went and checked out the Goonies there. They've had Marvel movies, a wide variety of stuff. And they're really starting to expand. They have had the Rocky Horror Picture Show this coming year. They're doing music on Thursday nights. On Wednesdays are going to be 420 friendly events. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. It's a great venue. They have a beer garden. They have their own food. Their food's phenomenal. And they're bringing back their French toast, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. And if you use code Inebri-art when purchasing tickets, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you go to moonrisecinemas.com to get your tickets for movies, concerts, and more. And use code Inebri-art for 10% off on your purchase. And now let's jump right into the podcast.
Across the line, the Gulf Stream, I've been in Tampa Bay, around the Horn, and home again, 'cause that is the sailor's way.
Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am your host, Andy, and I am joined by first mate producer Fish.
Ahoy.
And Hanna. And Hanna today is adorned with an eye patch, a parrot, peg leg. What's up, Hanna?
I feel like we really switched roles.
I know. I'm a little concerned that I'm not being made fun of because I feel like I'm being set up for later.
Well, you're the first mate.
And I was going to say ahoy.
I'm sorry, we didn't look. Obviously, we didn't.
Normally, I jump ahead in the notes.
I'm sorry. We didn't go over in show prep.
Okay, our 2 seconds of show prep.
Yeah.
But Hanna, today's a little different. Who are we talking to today?
Why would you ask? It's Chris Schulz.
Because it fits the model of the show. Chris Schulz from the Cape Cod Pirate Festival is joining us today.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
That seems to be the way we respond when we're asked, ain't it?
Yeah. So I stumbled across Cape Cod Pirate Festival on Facebook and was like, what is this all about? And so I figured, why spend the time clicking on the link when I can invite you in and we can just do it in real time?
Absolutely. Well, it's always easier to have something in person, driving 50-plus miles to sit down and have a conversation, rather than clicking on a link for research.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to share the news about the festival. I mean, the business side of it, the festival is going to be the first 2 weekends of June. We're doing it at the Yarmouth Fairgrounds, which was the old site of the Yarmouth Drive-In. It's right across from the Pirate Museum, even though we're not actually affiliated with them.
Okay.
But it's an easy place to access. We'll have parking on site, and you can get tickets online, and it's going to be great. We're really excited about the entertainment we have lined up for this year. We're still adding some pieces. We've got some really exciting changes from last year's festival, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
How many years has this been running?
2.
Okay.
This is our second one.
Oh, so 2021 and 2022?
Correct.
Because it's always one of, like, people be like, oh, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, do I count 2020? I don't know how to count anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it actually came out of COVID, actually. I run a small event services company that focused on, initially, it actually started in COVID. It started out to support small businesses and nonprofits trying to figure out how to go from real, actual, in-presence events to virtual events, because nobody knew. Everybody knew that you could use Zoom, but nobody knew how Zoom worked. So I kind of learned the ins and outs, set it up, streamlined it so that these smaller organizations could just run their fundraising events without an issue. And that was great. Didn't do an incredible amount of business, but did enough to support some smaller organizations and small nonprofits. And then things started opening back up. And it was suggested to me by people that I had worked with as business coaches who said, well, why don't you go back to your roots? Because I used to run festivals for other organizations. I was the events manager and essentially one of the general managers of the Florida Renaissance Festival. And I worked with other events when I lived in Florida before I moved back up here. And it was just sort of like, why don't you return to your roots? I say, you know what? Yeah, why don't I? This is a great area. I used to run a pirate festival down in Florida. Cape Cod is perfect for pirates and pirate entertainment. We have the Pirate Mile. We have the Skull Island mini golf course.
What's the Pirate Mile?
So
Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
You said that like we should be like, oh, the Pirate Mile, of course.
Every night I'm there.
The Pirate Mile is what the town of Yarmouth is trying to promote as, well, the Pirate Mile. It's basically a mile from the Pirate Museum all the way to Skull Island, which is at Bass River Sports World. And there's different pirate-themed entertainment in between. There's some pirate-themed restaurants. There's pirate-themed mini golf. There's pirate-themed attractions in the museum. And now, across from the museum, starting off the Pirate Mile, is going to be the Cape Cod Pirate Festival, which is going to kick off basically the summer season.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Did you know about that?
The Pirate Mile?
Yeah.
I mean, not in those words. I knew about the pirate events and things that go on in that area.
I think I knew about the mini golf because that's been around a long time.
Yes, I've been to that one.
So is this very historically accurate, or
Not
is this,
at all.
I was going to say, is this more like a King Richard's kind of?
No, this is the gateway drug to pirate history, is pirate reenactment. It's there is authenticity about it. It's about as historically accurate as the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. There is historical accuracy.
Those aren't history?
There are pieces of accurate history in them.
Yeah.
However, there are also ghosts and mermaids and magic boxes and stuff like that, and magic compasses and stuff like that. So there is a lot of whimsy that's associated with this. It is an opportunity to introduce people to some of the actual history through the whimsy and the fantasy of it, which is what we enjoy doing, because we can pass on in an exciting way some actual history while giving people an opportunity to indulge and play in their fantasies. And it's good for older kids, and it's good for younger kids, and it's good for middle-aged kids like myself who like to go out and have fun.
And I've definitely seen more and more pirate fandom, I guess. I don't know if there's I'm sure there's a word that I'm not using correctly. But since the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and was it something that existed before that, or did it really kick off with that movie?
Well, that's a question that's probably much bigger than I could answer here, nor would I claim to be an expert. But I can tell you what I've seen, which is that there have always been pirate reenactors and people who take that pirate culture thing seriously. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies really kind of brought it mainstream, made it really popular, and made it accessible. You know, whereas some people think pirates, it's big scary biker dudes with eye patches who drink a lot, which they are. It also made it mainstream. It made it sexy. It made it romantic. You had romantic elements. You had a lot of adventure. You had the swashbuckling swordplay that was popular back in the days of Errol Flynn is now suddenly back and is cool and is exciting, and it was getting people's attention. So there has always been a subset of pirates who participated in Renaissance fairs, and this kind of moved them to the front.
Yeah.
So you're seeing more pirate-themed entertainment. You know, Renaissance festivals have pirate-themed weekends. I'm excited because this is a dedicated pirate fair, and out of all of the dedicated pirate fairs in the country, we're one of only 2 that actually is running for more than one weekend. Most of them are one weekend, in some cases one-day events, whereas we're actually a 2-weekend event.
A 2-weekend thing?
Very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, because I spent a lot of time at Comic-Cons, and everyone at the Comic-Con at least, was familiar with the 501st, everyone dressing up as stormtroopers. And it was around the time of, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies really taking off that we started seeing, I want to say they call themselves the New England Brotherhood. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah, and they would set up booths, and you could take pictures with pirates and walk the plank, and good old pirate fun.
There are some great reenactment groups around.
Yeah,
we work very closely with the Rogues Armada, which does a lot of things like you mentioned, those types of events. They actually work to raise money for charity. They run a number of games at our festival. They collect some money as tips, and then that money goes directly to support their charity of choice, which is Feeding America. And we as an organization value their contribution. So rather than having them pay all their expenses and everything out of pocket, we bring them in at our expense to set up their shop, and then they get to raise that money and donate to charity.
That's great.
So it gives us an opportunity to give something back as well.
Nice. So what else can people expect to see at the festival?
So we have 3 stages of entertainment. On those stages, we have all different types of performers. We have the plank walkers, which is sort of pirate rock and roll. Okay. They take a lot of older traditional songs, put a lot of drive in them, and really make them exciting. We have the Widow Wash-Ashores, which is actually a local group of performers and artists from the Cape area who've done a lot of work on Cape stages, and they get together and they sing traditional sea shanties anywhere from early pre-colonial, like the late 1600s, early 1700s, right up to the mid 1800s stuff. So it's a big swath of time that those shanties cover, but they present them all, and the sound is just amazing. And I love the story, mostly because I got to help create it. But the idea is that they are the Widow Wash-Ashores, making a play on the idea that people who live on Cape Cod, who move to Cape Cod, are wash-ashores. Well, these are the Widow Wash-Ashores. They're the guys who went down on the ship in 1717, but their bodies washed ashore, and now they're sort of back to celebrate the songs and the culture. And they have a lot of fun. There's some cute stories and some cute songs, and they're great. We have the Rogues Armada. We have the Yarmouth Minutemen are going to be there firing off cannons, and they're going to be putting on a more of a pirate aspect. They'll be firing off cannons and guns. We're going to be bringing in a couple of groups to run our bar, which is a new addition, which is really exciting.
Okay.
I have a group of young ladies, beautiful young ladies, really talented. They're called the Harlot Queens.
Okay.
And they're going to be singing songs in our pub while serving beer, Coyote Ugly style. So they're going to be breaking into song and kind of entertaining at the pub. And I also have a group coming in from the Thousand Islands Pirate Society, I believe is their name, and I hope I'm not butchering it. But it's the Thousand Islands Pirate Society up in northern New York, and they specialize in tavern games. So they are going to be leading people in what I've called the stationary pub crawl, where you can go to our pub, get some drinks, learn some games, play some traditional games. There's going to be a lot of fun there. And we're also, I guess I'll make the announcement here. We actually have not officially announced this, but we are going to be hosting New World Games, which is a human-powered Renaissance Festival-style games company. We will have human-powered carousel, a hurlinator, axes, knives.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
Cannons. We're going to have an inflatable pirate ship, courtesy of the Cape Cod Inflatable Park.
Nice.
So we're going to have a lot of different things for people of all ages. So we go from one end of the spectrum, which is, sexy girls in corsets dancing and singing songs in a pub, to pirate-shaped bouncy houses. So we can cover the whole gambit.
I feel like you go to the pub and then the bouncy house.
Yeah, I don't see not doing either.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we do have a good source of water, so we can rinse the bouncy house off. Visit the pub. No, it's a really exciting event because I like the fact that the entertainment appeals to a broad cross-section of ages. So you can go there on a date. You can go there as an older couple who are looking to have some fun. You can go there as a young family. You can go there with a bunch of friends on a getaway from college, you know? So it really does appeal to everybody.
So, seeing as how I spend most of my time in bars, brews, and restaurants, the pub intrigues me. Is this a structure? Is this an inflatable? Like I've seen inflatable Irish pubs. Like, how, did you guys build this, or is it a building that was there? Or
It's a tent with a really good bar.
Okay. All right.
For now. But the actual infrastructure is going to change as we go along with setting up the tables for the games and bringing in some other things. So, I mean, eventually we'd love to have more permanent structures, or at least some semi-permanent structures that we can then erect and put in storage. But for now, because it's only our second year,
A tent. That makes sense.
a tent is
Yeah.
That was the one thing that didn't even come across my mind. Tent. Yeah. All right. That makes a lot more sense.
I just like that you went from, okay, so it probably won't be a real building, must be inflatable.
Because there was, for a very specific reason, is in Marshfield right before COVID, like I think the summer before COVID, at the fairgrounds, they had an inflatable Irish pub. So I was
I
just
don't
wondering
even
if it was-
understand it. Like you go in and
It's basically like a bouncy house
That you
with
walk-
no bouncy floor.
Yeah.
So it's just like the walls are just inflated and you go
Oh,
inside.
okay. I was imagining bouncy floors.
So just
too. I was
bouncy
like,
walls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know,
that's
for your Irish
I
bar
was just
fights,
wondering
you
if
just
it
get
was
way more entertaining.
something
Right.
that the pirates had repurposed, hung a pirate flag over the Irish
we
pub
don't
sign.
have that, but you're giving me ideas.
Don't ask me where. I remember was going around the office. People were like, "Oh, have you seen this?" I'm like, "Why are you asking me?" I'm writing down the dates on my pen. But it sounds pretty cool. Is this I'm assuming the employees will be in pirate garb, but is this something that people will be dressing up to go to?
Well, I certainly hope so. We do have a number of different themed days at the event in order to encourage people to dress up. We have, I can't remember what order they're in, but they're in our website. So go to our website, CapeCodPirateFest.com. But the theme days are broken out where we have a Talk Like a Pirate Day, a Dress Like a Pirate Day. We have Ambassadors Day, which I'm really excited about. Ambassadors Day is a day where we're inviting people who have gone to Renaissance festivals, themed festivals, medieval festivals, anywhere in New England or New York.
Yeah.
Come in your garb, bring your ticket, half-price admission. We want to support our fellow festivals in the region, even if there's a festival that's going on at that time, because I know, as a matter of fact, that the Robin Hood Festival in Connecticut is happening the same time our festival is. If you've gone to the Robin Hood Festival, you had a good time, bring your attire, bring your kit, bring your garb, bring your ticket, and we'll let you into ours for half price, because we want to support our neighbors in that community, and we want to make
That's
sure that they
pretty cool.
understand we celebrate what they do as well. And we encourage that. So, and it's an opportunity for, worlds to collide. We'll have folks from, Renaissance fair garb to medieval garb to Robin Hood garb to pirates to, I'm sure we'll have stormtroopers. We'll probably get a few Star Trek away teams in there. You never know.
Time travelers.
Yeah, there'll be a Doctor Who, I'm sure. Yeah. That was one of my favorite things about Ren fairs is you get the people that are dressing in period specific clothing, but then you get pirates, and then there'll be the Mandalorian, and then someone it's just we interviewed Jacques Z. Whipper
I love
recently.
Jacques.
Yes.
And I referred to King Richard's Fair as the medieval dad joke. And I'm like, that's what I love about it, is it's not serious. Like everyone gets it. Everyone's there to have fun. And I think that's the fun part of it. Yeah.
I think, and I'm so glad to hear that you guys had Jack here too, because he's just such an amazing talent. He's got a much better radio voice than I have.
Well, he's a radio guy.
He does. He is, and he does. But he's fantastic. He's got some great exposure on TikTok lately too. I've been watching that. Which we actually have one of our bands, Kudu. Is a Celtic war drums and pipes band. Well, their piper is Allie the Piper from TikTok, who's pretty popular right now. She's been growing in popularity, so we're excited that she's going to be joining us as well.
That's cool.
But sorry, I had to. But yes, it's
all about
We've never been off the rails before.
but yeah, I definitely think people can come in costume if they want to, but they don't have to, and that's the beauty of it. Is you can come as you are. Our motto is join the crew, leave your mark. We want you to come and be a part of what we're doing. you do it in the way that makes the most sense for you. If that's by being a dad and running around and having a beer and watching your kids play in the bounce house and listening to some songs, great. If that's coming in full kit, getting your garb on, coming in and singing all the songs that you know the words to and having more than a few pints of beer and really celebrating with us, then that's awesome too. We want everybody to be able to come and enjoy it.
You did mention that if you bring a ticket from another festival, it's half price. What is full price?
So our tickets online right now are $12 for adults, $8 for kids if you purchase them in advance. If you purchase them at the door, it goes to $15 and $10.
That's super reasonable.
Yeah.
That's like way better than I was expecting.
Well, I will be honest, and it's a bit of a mea culpa on my part.
Yeah.
Last year, we charged too much. We were charging $15 for everybody at the door and online, no matter what. And because we were a small festival, we had some missed communications and messaging. Some information went out with lower pricing on it before we updated it, and we didn't get it because it is a small operation. We make mistakes.
Yep.
And I got to own that, you know. So we realized we were charging too much for admission, and we were charging too much for beer.
Yeah.
So we've cut the price of beer from $9 to $7. And we have cut the price of admission significantly to make it worthwhile. And we've added a children's price tag, which before it was just a flat rate for everybody. Mm-hmm. So we've tiered it to make it more affordable. So it is significantly more affordable to go out with a family of 4 or 5 and still be able to come out and enjoy the festival. And you're not dropping $100 just to walk through the door.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's nice to have that kind of mentality of like, oh, we learned. Let's, make adjustments on the fly.
So we've talked about booze and costume. Is there anything going on for food?
We're working on that.
Okay. Curious.
We are. I don't have anything official to announce yet, but we are working with a number of different food trucks in the area to get them to service the event. We do have a couple of food vendors online, and one of the beautiful things about the festival location where we are, unlike some of the other festivals where you have to drive way out of the way in order to get there, we are directly across the street from some great food purveyors. So if you don't mind walking out of the parking lot, you can get some foods right on the main strip. So if you don't like what we have to offer, we'll give you a wristband. You can come back in.
So you can kind of come and go?
Absolutely. And there's some great opportunities in the area. And I would encourage it. Support the local businesses. If we don't have at our festival what you want, then get the best you can out of our festival and go get something to eat down the road and then come back. Mm-hmm. You're welcome to do that. And I would encourage people to do that after the festival. After you've had a day of festival food, there's only so much cotton candy and corn dogs you can eat. At some point you're like, I need substance.
Don't tell me how to live, Chris.
But we do have some great restaurants. We've gotten some great support from the Yarmouth Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of the chamber members are running businesses right near there. There's Captain Parker's is literally right across the street. Some of the best chowder in the world right there. So
awesome. Do pirates eat chowder?
Pirates eat anything.
With limes, though. They have limes
That's
in
true.
it.
Just sprinkle it on the chowder.
Did you make the conscious decision to have it across from the Widow Pirate Museum specifically, or was that just a happy accident?
It was mostly a happy accident. Last year, the event was held at Skull Island, behind the mini golf area. They had a beautiful plot of land, and the owner and his family were so kind and generous. They gave us the use of this space. We were able to set it up. We used part of their driving range, and it was great. But we realized that we needed to get bigger. We needed more space. And the only space in the area that was close enough that was still part of that Pirate Mile was that old drive-in site, which just happens to be across the street from the Widow Museum. I am planning some other events in the town down the road that are not pirate related at all, and one of them is definitely scheduled to be at that site. So it was sort of a happy accident, but it's also a little bit of serendipity. It worked. It all flows together very nicely that we are across the street from the Pirate Museum, that this event can be held in the Pirate Mile. It gives us an opportunity for some pretty solid branding and some good recognition, and we're right in the middle of the biggest tourist area of Yarmouth. So in addition to people who make it as a destination event, we're hoping we're going to get people who drive by and go, hey, what is that? It looks cool. Let's go check it out.
So having run events at drive-ins, it always seems like a no-brainer. I'm like, oh, there's tons of room, blah, blah, blah. And then you tend not to realize that all the parking for the drive-in is inside the area. Is there parking available on site? Is there a parking lot nearby? Is it paid parking? Yeah,
there is paid parking on site for people who come to the festival grounds. There are other areas nearby that there are some accessible parking lots. But we have blocked off enough of an area to accommodate enough cars while at the same time accommodating the festival. We did plan ahead for that.
Yeah.
So we've got there's a fair amount of space. It was a rather large area of land, and we're taking up for a small festival. Our footprint is big.
Yeah.
But in comparison with the ground at the drive-in, there's a lot more space there. It's probably about a quarter of the space is dedicated to the festival, and the rest has been set aside for parking and storage.
And again, having run drive-in events, inclement weather or really great weather can be troublesome. Are you going to have areas of shade? Because I'm not familiar with this at all, so I'm sorry if this seems like a stupid question, but
all right.
Is there tree coverage, shade? Is it going to be like just people baking? How do you deal with that?
There's minimal tree coverage.
Okay.
It is early enough in the season, the first 2 weekends of June, that we picked those dates specifically because the weather is still pretty temperate, but it's not so ungodly hot that people are going to get burned to a crisp out there.
Yep.
Use your head. Bring your sunglasses. Wear your sunscreen.
Bring a hat.
But it shouldn't be it shouldn't be like it would be at the height of summer. And we are going to have all of our stages are tented. The pub is tented, so you can always go and find a place to get some shade and get some cover. So our vendor tents will be set up, so you can always go into a vendor tent and do some shopping and get out of the sun if you want to. And it would be a rain or shine event, unless there was a state of emergency. I mean, we're pirates, man. It's
Right.
a little bit of rain ain't going to scare anybody away. But we go no matter what, unless it becomes an issue of safety.
Right.
If it's personal safety, then obviously that trumps everything, and we would shut it down. But we picked the dates in June because those are typically good weather, relatively temperate dates, and that's what we're anticipating.
Nice. You mentioned vendors. Mm-hmm. I mean, what kind of vendors are we going to expect?
Well, again, being a new festival, we're still looking for vendors. We are going to have some purveyors of pirate-themed weapons, pirate-themed clothing, some Renaissance-themed clothing, some artists, some craftspeople, people who would do some woodworking, I believe we have booked. We've got small craft vendors. We have people who are known on the circuit who've been around. So a little bit of everything. Everything's going to have a nautical or pirate bend.
Yeah.
But as far as the scope of the vending, it could be anything from small piratey themed knickknacks to big nautical signs for your home or your mailbox.
Nice. I may know some people.
All right.
For you. We'll have to talk. What else you got, Anna?
I mean, I don't know. It sounds really cool. Sounds fun.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah, I wish I had known about it last year, but I'm happy to know about it now.
Well,
what were the dates again? The first 2 weeks in June?
First 2 weekends of June 4th, 5th, 11th, and 12th. And it was. I wish I had known about it last year, but last year was a great year for us to get our feet wet.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're using this event this year to springboard into other events that we're developing. We are in the process of actively developing a Sleepy Hollow themed adventure during October, which will include, a full immersive experience for people with stunt riding and an evening event that would also have.
I think Hannah's excited over there.
Have a Halloween party at castles, and we're in the process of scripting that, writing that, casting that right now. It's still in the planning stages, but it's moving quickly, and I am right now planning on developing a Celtic Festival and Highland Games for next March, which would be opposite the St. Patrick's Day parade. So the parade would end about noontime in Yarmouth.
Yep.
Noontime, 12:30. 1 o'clock we start with music, and then that would go during the day, and then the next day would be a second day of Celtic Festival and some Highland Games, and lots of beer and lots of kilts and lots of log tossing, caber tossing.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I know,
that
seriously.
Sounds super cool. Chris, you're going to be our best friend.
The door is open. Come, buy beers and drink.
I'm trying. I think we kind of. Did we miss anything?
I don't know, but I mean, you guys have costumes?
Not yet.
Okay. Mine is like transitional. It could be Ren or pirate. So
I can probably get an eye patch.
Okay, cool.
Fish poked me really hard in the eye.
It's acting.
Okay. Oh, all right.
It always
wear an eye patch without
I can't wear glasses. That would just be terrible.
Yeah, you put the glass on over the eye patch.
It's always funny watching people and the different choices of costumes that come to these events, because you can tell the people who work them versus the people who are partying. You know? And the people who are partying always come in with these beautiful, elaborate, thick, heavy costumes with all the weaponry and the bling and the hats and the feathers. And the people who work it are like, oh man, it's going to get hot. Forget this. And they're like, as little as possible.
They'll be like, I'll be Drag Pirate Roberts.
Yeah. Wear as little as I can get away with and still be period authentic-ish.
You mentioned weapons. What is the rules on weapons?
Pretty much what you'd expect at a Renaissance festival. It's like no unsheathed weapons, no unholstered weapons. Even mock weapons should really be kept in their holsters, because you can't tell what somebody's swinging around.
Right.
The only people who will be actually using live fire weapons would be the people who are doing the demonstrations out at the point, the Yarmouth Minutemen. And the only people who should be unsheathing weapons would be the trained fighters who have trained in the combat. It's one of the things that sometimes people don't understand is that making a crazy sword fight happen is a lot of work and a lot of choreography, and it requires professionals, because one accident can really hurt somebody. So,
For sure.
We encourage people to invest in their costumes and invest in their passions, but do it responsibly, do it respectfully, do it in such a way that our actors and our patrons are both safe.
Are there going to be well-known pirates there? You know what I mean? One that Blackbeard.
You like Captain Feathersword?
Yeah.
So we're not at the point yet where we are developing scripts or storylines.
That was going to be my next question.
That is on the plan. That is in the plan, and eventually we are going to have an interactive scripted storyline that I would love to be able to incorporate. But as it stands right now, most of our characters are going to be independent characters, village characters, which will do improvisation. We're not going to have any of the famous pirates there, with the exception of the fact the Rogues Armada are coming. And they bring with them, their leader is a fantastic Captain Jack.
Oh,
he's just
cool.
an unbelievable Captain Jack, and he's really adopted that persona. And he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. So he's there, and everybody loves getting their pictures taken with him. Which is kind of disappointing, because I try to feature myself because I can't afford to hire a mascot yet. I have to do it myself. So I walk around as the character Buck Kinnear, who is my alter ego.
It's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I
fun.
appreciate the pun.
He's fun, and he's a lot of fun, and it's easy to slip into Buck, but once he does, it's hard to get out. So I'm not going to do the rest of the interview that way, but that's sort of the way he talks, and he just kind of rambles and trails off like that. Anyway, and it's just sort of his personality. He's a great character, and I've had fun playing him for years and years and years. But it always cracks me up that people are like, oh, it's Buck, hey, there's Buck. And I get this whole thing going, and then Captain Jack walks out, and they're like,
Never mind.
and I'm like, what did I just do wrong? But no, he's amazing and incredibly talented, incredibly generous, really skilled, and he just does a great job working with the kids. So he'll be there. But other than that, no, we're going to start introducing some of the major pirates probably, if not next year, the year after. And I'm hoping to start getting more of a storyline built around the day for the people who arrive in the morning. They can follow the story throughout the day like you do see at other Renaissance festivals and pirate festivals. But right now, we're just big enough to be dangerous, but we're not big enough to really cover that territory yet.
Gotcha.
Nice. So it's a good place to be. Gives you
Little wiggle
something
room.
to work towards,
Yeah.
and yeah. So does everyone typically come up with a pirate name, when they are in costume? Is that a standard thing to do?
We try to.
Yeah.
One of the things we have a pirate cast that we have picked from auditions, and we are really working with them on trying not to be your cliche performer at some of these festivals. I mean, some of these festivals, I always admire Renaissance festivals that are fan started. They're started by a group, and they're like, we're going to put on a show. It's like the old, we're going to put on a show in a barn kind of days.
Yeah.
And they do really wonderful stuff, but there's always an element of fandom attached to that. And then a lot of the festivals and I don't mean that disparagingly, I think it's great that energy and enthusiasm is out there. it does limit the ability of an organization like that to grow.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the organizations I've worked with are professional organizations that do this as a job.
Right.
And I've watched them put their energy into it, and it becomes too job focused. I'm trying to be kind of in the middle. So what I want to do is I want it to be fan driven. I want to build up a base of patrons who really, really love it, but I have to be conscious of making it work like a business. In order to do that, we've got to put on a good show.
Right.
So I don't want people going out there on my cast living out their fantasies. I want my cast to help people who come live out their fantasies.
Okay.
But my cast, we're working very hard on training them in improvisational techniques, skill techniques. We use the guide that was set up by Gary Izzo, who runs the Sterling Renaissance Festival Entertainment Program. He basically designed the interactive program down at Disney. He's written a couple of books. We follow his model on world building. We teach these people, learn how to interact, learn how to respond to a variety of people. You will find people who come up to you and want to challenge you. How do you do that in a safe way and not become confrontational? How do you be a big, scary pirate in front of a little 2-year-old kid who might be questioning whether or not you're safe to approach or not?
Right.
So really teaching our team the right way to interact with people so that the patrons at our festival will get the best experience that we can give them.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too.
So when me and Hannah are going to go get our tickets, give us the website again. Where do we get them?
So you can go to CapeCodPirateFest.com. You can purchase your tickets right there. They are available at the door, but it is a little bit more money. But if you're not sure until
But still
the day
only a couple
of,
bucks.
It's only a couple of bucks. I think the pricing is pretty darn reasonable
I would
for
agree.
what we're offering. And having experienced price hikes in a number of different other festivals over the years, I think we're going to try and keep ours as accessible as possible for as long as we can.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that it's always, like, I know people complain about some Renaissance fairs about how expensive they are, but, every year they grow and get bigger and,
Right.
Have more insurance and need more porta potties and yada, it's the infrastructure behind it that...
Well... Yes, but I always think the solution is add more patrons, not add higher prices. I would much rather have a reasonable price and make it accessible to 3 times as many people than price myself out of the market and make it more difficult for people to come. It's a lot easier for people to come. We have a season pass, a 4-day pass, which I believe is like $45 or $48, I think. But you can come all 4 days, and you get a commemorative pin and you get a T-shirt, I believe.
Oh, cool.
But you also get to go to an after-hours party on the last day.
Ooh.
Which is really kind of cool. And it's less than $50.
Right.
Whereas some other festivals,
That's that much to get in.
It's pretty close to that to get in. So do you want to go to an event once or do you want to go 4 times? So I really believe I benefit and our festival benefits by having a reasonable price that makes it accessible to people to come more than once. I hope people come 4 days in a row. I hope people make an entire weekend of it.
Yeah.
I hope that people see the price and say, wow, I can get an inexpensive hotel room. I'm going down on Friday night. I'm going to be there for opening gate on Saturday. I'm hanging out till the end of business on Sunday, and then I'm going home Monday. I'm making a weekend of it. Do it, That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that is reasonable because just going down the Cape, crossing the bridge for 1 day can be daunting.
It can be, but again...
But with a reasonable price, that makes it worth it.
And the time of the year is before it really gets busy. First 2 weekends of June. Is it going to be busy? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it going to be height of the summer busy? No.
No. Yeah. I don't have any other questions.
I don't think I do either. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chris. First mate.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that I'm still here.
We didn't even talk about the Red Sox. I just figured you didn't have anything to say.
I did make a Star Trek reference on purpose.
That's true.
I know, but
yeah, he did.
It was just the conversation was flowing. I want to dive in.
He's wearing a red shirt. He was worried.
I felt kind of expendable this morning. So, let's just let it go.
So, Chris, thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope that all of your listeners are able to come and join us. If not in person, then at least in spirit. Come check us out on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. You can also check out our webpage, Cape Cod Pirate Fest. I think our Facebook is Cape Cod Pirates, actually. But you can find us, like us, share our posts, and buy a ticket and come have a beer with us. We'd love to have you.
Outstanding. I think it's the part where we stop talking. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. So thanks again for listening.